Hi, friends. This is Rosie with HeartSense LLC. I wanted to share with you guys some exciting news that we have coming up. So, HeartSense LLC, if you don't know, we have existed since October 2019. And I started HeartSense with a dream and a desire to help women live in their identity in Christ and pursue the God given calling in their heart. I sum all of this up by saying I am on a mission to help women live loved. So if anyone is wanting to understand what does it mean to live loved, it means not being held back by lies, unbelief, or just any hindrances, whatever that may be, and not waiting to live your life now. So if you have a dream in your heart, if you have a desire, if you have a goal, if you have a passion, you can pursue that now. You don't have to wait for any special thing. And if there's something hindering you or holding you back, then we want to help you overcome that so that you can truly live a loved life. So we started in October 2019. I started with just a website and a workbook, which tend to have one on my desk at all times. Here it is. Here's the workbook. I mean, guys, when I say don't let anything hold you back, I mean, I typed this out in Google Docs. I formatted it, and by today's standards in my book, I didn't format it that great, but I did. I formatted it, sent it to, I don't even know if I sent it to a friend on the first copy to edit. I think I just typed it all, formatted it, and then I have a friend who worked at a local printer, sent it over, said, hey, can you print 25 copies? And they did. I think I paid like $4 or $5 a copy. So when I say let nothing hold you back, I mean let nothing hold you back. Of course, now it's much easier. You can just quickly upload a PDF to Amazon or Lulu and you can have it printed. But I still love this because it was the first time I just really said, I'm not going to let anything stop me. And that's part of the vision and the dream at HeartSense is don't let anything stop you. Whatever dream, purpose, goal you have in your heart and have a desire to pursue, you don't have to let anything stop you, especially today when we have so many tools and resources available to us and technology available to us. It's just so easy to pursue your dreams today. So in October 2019, I started with a website and this workbook. I spoke at a conference, and that was the official start of HeartSense LLC. Since then, or a year later, I started His Story magazine, and we have now printed 9, about to be 10 issues of this beautiful magazine filled with real stories by real women of a real God. And this isn't me writing, this is women writing their stories of how God has met them in their need, brokenness, or hurt, and how God just completely transformed their life. And it's not all stories like that. Some of it really is just how-tos. So, we had an article, I think an article I wrote was how to make wise decisions, 3 simple steps on how to make a wise decision. This specific magazine has three C's of community. So what are the 3 easy ways to have a community? So magazine is just filled with so many good stories, but also good equipping content to help you in your daily walk with the Lord. So we've been producing this magazine for about 2 years, and through the time of HeartSense and our magazine, I have had many, many women come to me and say, I want to share my story, but I don't know how to write. Or I think I want to write, but I don't know how. And a lot of women have shared their insecurities with writing. And let me just stop and say right there, that's kind of normal. I will read something I wrote 3 years ago and still feel insecure about it. But I'm not going to stop because I feel insecure. I'm going to do it anyway, because the only one that's judging this is me. And if anybody else is judging it, they probably haven't done anything that would be judged, so I'm not too worried about those people, because those are probably not my people. Because my people, I'm just gonna bet that my people aren't judging what I do, but they're celebrating and encouraging what I do. And that's what we want to do. We want to celebrate and encourage what you do. So in this time, I've had lots of women approach me and say, I want to write my story. I want to share my story, but I don't know how to write, or I'm not that good of a writer, or I don't know where to start, or just any number of things that have hindered women from writing. Now, you don't have to be a writer to write your story. We have women who just write one article or two articles and have no desire to become a published writer. I am a writer. I write workbooks. Workbooks are probably my number one thing that I wrote. This is a workbook. Workbooks are my love, but I love writing articles. I love writing workbooks. I might never write a full 200-page book. That's okay. So there's all kinds of different writers, but you don't have to be a writer to be a part of writing. Or you don't have to see yourself as a writer. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm sorry, let me backtrack there. So we've had lots of women who have shared they want to write, but they don't know how, or they don't consider themselves a writer. You don't have to consider yourself a writer to start. Eventually, that mindset of a writer will kick in after you have written your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th story. Eventually, it will kick in and you'll start to call yourself a writer. But don't worry about that today. You don't have to call yourself a writer. The first thing to do is to just do one thing. And I'm going to give you an opportunity today to do one thing. So since so many people have been asking and sharing with me that they have a desire to write, we decided to start a new group within our HeartStance community. And this group is all about writing. So we definitely have some people in our community who want to write sometimes, but they don't really want to write all the time. And that's okay. But this group is going to be for people who know they want to write a story, whether it's an article or a book or a blog, just anything that has to do with writing. So this group is going to be for those people. And maybe that is you. Maybe you want to write. Maybe you have an idea for a book. Maybe you've gone through something significant. Maybe you're a single mom and you have gone through the highs and the lows of single parenting. Maybe you've gone through something traumatic and you have a story of miraculous or even long-term healing that you want to share with the world. Whatever it is, if you have a story you want to share through writing, our Write Your Story group is going to be perfect for you. And let me tell you why. Our Write Your Story group is going to give you a couple of different things to help you become a writer and to help you write your story. The very first thing is we have a curriculum called Write Your Story that we have developed over the last 2 years. And this is a HeartStance writing model. This doesn't exist anywhere else. You might find bits and pieces of it, but this is what has developed our magazine over the last 2 years. And this is the model that I use in my writing. And so I do believe it was given to me from the Lord. The Write Your Story model will take you through a process of writing, and it will help you to organize your writing, help you to create an outline, help you to write a rough draft. It just takes you through all the steps, but it's really rooted in God first, and it's rooted in prayer and devotion first. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it special. I don't know that there's many writing programs out there that are going to have you sit with the Lord first in prayer and devotion. So if you love the Lord and you are desiring to draw closer to the Lord and to write at the same time, the Write Your Story model is perfect for you. So in this group, you're going to get the Write Your Story program. And in addition to that, the number one thing that I'll say two things. The number two things that we hear writers and people say all the time, there are two hindrances that keep them from writing. Number one is they don't have a scheduled habit or a scheduled routine to help them write. So it's easy to just go through their day and never write a thing. Think about if you do not go to the gym and you want to go to the gym, it takes time and effort to build the habit to start going to the gym every day. So writing is the same. You're building a muscle. If you don't have a scheduled time or a routine, it's going to be really hard to start building the muscle by yourself. So we created a solution for that for you. We are within the Write Your Story group offering 3 live calls every week where you will come and just have a scheduled time to sit and to write. This is not teaching time. This is not even like a ton of interaction. You literally will log onto your computer, will say a prayer, will have some maybe writing prompts if you need them, and then you'll just write. So again, this is one of the number one reasons people tell us they have not been able to write their book, is they just don't have the time scheduled. So this will solve that problem. The number two thing is that writers tend to write alone. And when you're writing alone, writing tends to not happen. So this is another reason that the live calls will work perfectly if you are desiring to write your book, write your story, write your article, write your blog, because you will join with a community of people on these live calls. You'll have a scheduled time to write together but on your own. And then you're in community. So you don't feel alone. You feel like you're with people who get it and they're writing with you and they're doing it with you. So that is the Write Your Story group that we are offering. Again, the Write Your Story group, you are getting the Write Your Story program. In addition to the online curriculum that we're giving you, that program will run live 3 times per year. So you're going to get that model down after 3 full cycles of it. And then you get 3 live calls every single week where you can come and then you can just write. We'll give you some goal sheets and progress tracking sheets and just tools to help you with your writing journey. And then in addition to that, you get all the other benefits of our community group members. You get 2 Saturday community calls a week where you're just joining with women in our community and you're just learning together, growing together in your relationship with the Lord. You do, as a Write Your Story group member, you get a printed copy of each issue of our magazine, which is pretty amazing. None of our other groups offer that. So you will get a printed copy in your mail, and then you get all of our regular devotional and monthly content as well. So if you are a writer, if you want to be a writer, if you want to write a story, if you want to write a book, if you have the stirring in your heart, this is the group for you. It's $97 a month, which again, meeting 3 times a week. You're getting a writing accountability group, a writing accountability coach. That's me. I've written over, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many articles, and I've written three workbooks like this, 4 now, maybe 5, and then tons and tons of articles. I think my word count just for school alone is like over 200,000 words. So I've written a ton, guys. That's my point. I'm very, very well trained in it. So you'll get a writing coach with me, and then with Laura. Laura's an actual teacher, so she can actually teach all the intricate editing things that you need. And then you get a live group calls, and then you get the Write Your Story program, and then you get the printed magazine, and you get all of our community benefits. So if you want to write, if you have a story inside of you, if you feel this stirring inside of you, there's some of you that are listening to this right now, and I just feel this stirring inside of me to say, there are some of you who are listening right now, and you have a story to share. You've gone through something significant, and I just feel led to encourage you that is not your story to hold to yourself. It's not your story. It's God's story. The reason we call this His Story magazine is because they're not our stories. They're God's stories. And when we hold on to them, there's a tendency to think that I don't know, like maybe if I share this, people might think of me different, or there's shame in sharing it, or people don't want to know this. The number one thing for me is I always think people already know this. They don't need me to share this. That's the number one lie that I believe about sharing my story. But when we say it's His story, it changes the way that we think. And then we begin to see it as, well, it's not my story, it's God's story. So now I can share this and know that God's going to meet somebody in that. There's something somebody needs to hear in this story, and God's going to meet them in that. A very perfect example of this is the very first issue of His Story magazine, which is that one right there, that gray one. And the very first page of that magazine, it wasn't even a story. It was a note that I wrote to the reader. And in 2 sentences, I said, I said, I have a friend who was feeling really sick. So I took my small mini Christmas tree to her house so that she would feel better. One of my other friends called me in tears, and she said, I read that and I felt like God ministered to me so much through that. I wasn't expecting that. It didn't even make sense to me that in a magazine filled with all these other stories and articles, 2 sentences about a Christmas tree was what spoke to her. But that is the power of our story. That is the power of our words, that we have no idea how God will use it to minister to and to impact other people. So if you're listening to this and you know that you have a story, that you've gone through something, you're going through something, you have overcome something, and that God has like rescued you, redeemed you, met you, helped you, encouraged you, that is something not for you to hold on to. That's something for you to release into the world and to share with other people, because there are women who are going through that same thing who need that. And I have to remind myself of this as like a 10+ year veteran Christian. There are women who are just starting their walk with the Lord, and they need to hear this. This thing that I think is so basic, there are women that are just starting their walk with the Lord that need to hear this. And there are women who are just starting their walk that need to hear this. There are non-believers who need to hear this. And that's true for you too. There are non-believers, there are women, there are people who are walking through something and they need your story. There is a book inside of you. There is an article inside of you. There is a word inside of you. And it's time to get that out there. It's time to write your story. It's time to share your story. Let us help you in that. Again, the way that we can help you is we are doing the Write Your Story group. We meet 3 times per week for accountability and writing. So it's just purely to help you build your writing habit and to build your writing discipline. Then in addition to that, we have the Write Your Story curriculum where we teach you the writing model that we use. And in that, you get lots of writing technical teaching like editing and how to cite Bible verses, and how to brainstorm your ideas, and how to edit, how to use passive voice and active voice, and just all the different technical things that might cause you to feel like you don't know what you're doing. We help with that. So you don't need to know what you're doing. You just need to show up and we'll help you. So those are some of the things that you get in the Write Your Story group. Again, only $97 a month. You're getting 3 accountability coaching sessions per week. So that's like 12 per month. That's a lot. That's a lot. And they're not required. You can show up to any amount that you want, every one of them, or just once a week, whatever works for you. So if you have a story, if you are ready to share your story, please join us. The group starts this month. And then as a bonus, the first 4 people that show up, I already gave away 4 of these to my last group call. So I can't do that for you guys, but I do have these ones. And it looks like I have 4. So first 4 people who sign up, you will get these 4, or you'll get 1. First 4 people who sign up, you will get this, or you can have this. I'll give you a choice. You can have, this is a workbook on inner healing, and then this is our February, March, or spring issue of His Story magazine, which is titled A Victorious Spirit. It's all about overcoming. So first 4 people who sign up, you can have one of these. You just email me once you sign up, and then tell me which one you want, and we'll go from there. I'm so excited, guys. I know that God is going to use you to transform the life of other people. Don't take that lightly. That is an amazing thing that you get to do as a woman of God. And that is something to step into. It's time to rise. Like, think about that for a second. Like, God will use you to transform the life of somebody else, whether that's 1 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever it is. God will use you to transform somebody's life. That's powerful. Think about how many people spoke into your life to get you to the point that you are today. Now you get to give back. You get to pour out what was poured into you. So sign up. The link's below. I'll put the QR code, and sign up today so you can start writing your story. Love you guys. Talk to you guys soon. I'm so excited for you guys. We'll talk soon.